And I state that without arrogance. I don't mean to be arrogant, but I am a realist. And as a realist, it would be absolutely unprofessional for me to sit here and pretend I'm not an exceptional human being. Because I am.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, I haven't had a chance to really talk about this guy since his courageous, valiant, and amazing performance against Yarde, but man, first of all, let me say a tip of my cap goes out to Anthony Yarde, who has proven himself as one of the most noble, one of the most real, and one of the most courageous warriors in our sport. He's fought top guys, Lyndon Arthur, Sergey Kovalev, Artur Beterbiev. No one can ever question Anthony Yarde's heart. But I think in that last Beterbiev fight, even though he lost, I don't think it was really a loss that damages his stock. If anything, it enhanced his stock. It enhanced the perception of his abilities as a fighter. Anthony Yarde took the fight to Beterbiev, and he really took it to some deep, dark plays at that time in the fight. And he brought out the best in him, and it was a great fight. It was one of the best light heavyweight fights in years. And I genuinely believe Anthony Yarde, just so long as he doesn't get discouraged, proved on the night that he's world class. He's an elite fighter. This wasn't the same Anthony Yarde that fought Sergey Kovalev. So let Anthony Yarde be a learning lesson to all the fighters that don't want no smoke when it comes to the big fights. That if you take the fights, if you go out there and if you perform to the best of your abilities, and you really show that effort and you make it competitive, and you really have your moments and you give people something to get excited about, that your stock will go up and you will not be slagged off and you will not be downed for losing to a top fighter. Make no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But Anthony Yarde, right? Frank Warren, Fish Eyes, he was talking about what could be next for Mr. Lions in the Camp. Lions in the Camp! And basically, he threw out a pretty interesting fight. Now, I would like this fight because truthfully, once you fight Artur Beterbiev and Sergey Kovalev, there really isn't much higher you could get except maybe fighting Bivol, and he's not gonna fight Bivol next. I don't think he's in line or that's a thing. So, genuinely, his next fight is going to be a step down. But just because it's a step down doesn't necessarily mean it's a fight that could be a lesser fight. Could still be a really good fight against a good contender, but just a lesser fight, as far as when you compare it to like Beterbiev and the guys he's already fought in his career. Now, Frank Warren has stated that he's going to speak directly to none other than the Bob father himself, Top Rank's very own Bob Arum, about potentially making his fighter, Anthony Yarde, against Joe Smith Jr. Now, to me, this would be an ideal fight to make because both these men right now are at the same place in their career. They're both coming off of knockout losses, stoppage losses to Artur Beterbiev. Both men, I would definitely say, are top 10 light heavyweights. Yarde has fought at the championship level. Joe Smith Jr. has been a champion himself. So it would be a massive win for Yarde if he could beat a former world champion like Joe Smith, a guy that's been in there and fought and beat some of the best guys that this weight class has to offer. It would really be a good fight. And I think it'd be a fun fight because one thing we know about Joe Smith Jr. is Joe Smith Jr. doesn't know how to box backwards. And he doesn't even care if you're Artur Beterbiev. He will march forward even to his own detriment. And I was there. I spent a lot of money to go to that fight with my dad, and it was worth every penny to see Joe Smith Jr. fight Artur Beterbiev in the fight that was, and the performance that was. Artur Beterbiev was one of the greatest fighters I've ever seen fight live. But with that being said, be a great fight. You got Joe Smith Jr. who brings his lunch pail to the ring every time. He comes from that construction background. He fights like a construction worker, and I mean that in a respectful way. Like, got a big, devastating left hook. He's a guy that makes for entertaining fights, and you can never say Joe Smith Jr. has been in a boring fight. He's never been in a boring fight. It doesn't matter if I'm talking about from Farah, Hopkins, Maxime Blazov, whomever, Bivol, Yarde, whoever he's fought, Joe Smith, Beterbiev, whoever he's fought, he's went out there and he's performed to the top of his abilities. Anthony Yarde, his stock has went up. Let's see, okay, maybe Yarde hasn't been able to cut it at the top level of light heavyweight boxing, but that's not a slight on him. To be the best fighter in this weight class, you got to be the best fighter in boxing. And it's hard to be the best fighter in boxing, but you can still be a good fighter, a top fighter, just not the top fighter, So this I think would give us a lot more insight just as to what level Anthony Yarde is at in the light heavyweight division. Because I think Joe Smith Jr. is a winnable fight for him. I think it's a very winnable fight. Joe Smith Jr., I truly believe is going to have a lot of holes in that defense for Yarde to exploit. Yarde, I thought, against Beterbiev showed excellent ring craft, excellent ability to feint and freeze Beterbiev and land the shots he wanted in a clean and effective way. And if he's doing that to Artur Beterbiev, one of the most destructive offensive fighters and really a hard, not as easy to hit as people think, then I definitely think he can do that to Joe Smith Jr. The only thing about that fight is Yarde has to do all he can in his power to take away the left hook of Joe Smith Jr. because that left hook of Joe Smith Jr. is his bread and butter. It's kind of like when you fight like Jose Ramirez. If you don't take that punch away from that fighter, it puts you in a dangerous position and it allows that fighter to just have their way with you whenever they want, and it sets up everything else. Because if you land the left hook, it sets up the right hand, it sets up the uppercut, and it sets up the other dangerous punches in the Joe Smith Jr. arsenal. So when I think about Joe Smith Jr. and Anthony Yarde, I just think of fireworks. I think of a great fight. I think of two fighters who I would definitely say are two of the top guys at light heavyweight who don't have a belt. You know, Beterbiev and Bivol have all the belts at light heavyweight right now. So outside of those guys, you would say like Zorro, Callum Smith, Buatsi. Those are like your top guys. But then like after that, you know, Yarde and Joe Smith Jr. got to be in that mix as well. So I hope this fight happens, and if it happens, you know, I'll be very excited to see it, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if it gets made in the UK or America. If it gets made in America, I mean, maybe I wind up going to it because these are the kind of fights I like, good competitive fights with top fighters, you know. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Anthony Yarde versus Joe Smith Jr. It sounds like Frank Warren is really exploring that possibility. So yeah, leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe, and like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just Kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.